Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Hour. I'm so glad you're here because today we're going to tackle a topic that every English learner struggles with at some point: understanding any English words. You know that moment when you hear a word and it just doesn't make sense, or when you read something and a single word stops you in your tracks. It's frustrating, right? But I promise you, there's a way to unlock this skill and make English feel much easier and more natural. Let me start with a story. A few years ago, I had a student named Sophia. Sophia loved English. She studied every day, practiced speaking, and read a lot. But she told me, "Whenever I hear a new word, I freeze. I don't know how to figure it out, and I end up skipping it." I smiled and said, "Sophia, the problem isn't your intelligence. The problem is strategy. There are ways to understand words without knowing every single dictionary definition." She was curious, and we worked together on a simple method that completely changed the way she approached English. By the end of a few weeks, she could understand words she had never seen before almost effortlessly. The first step is context clues. This is one of the most powerful tools you have. Words don't exist in isolation. They're always surrounded by other words, sentences, or situations that give hints about their meaning. For example, if you read, "The cat perched on the windowsill," watching the birds outside, and you don't know the word perched, you can guess from context that it means something like sitting or standing. Your brain is very good at noticing patterns and connections. The more you practice this, the faster you'll get at understanding words from context alone. Another technique I teach is breaking words into parts. Many English words have roots, prefixes, and suffixes that give clues about their meaning. For instance, take the word unbelievable. You can split it into on, meaning not, believe, and able, meaning can be. Even if you've never seen the word before, you can figure out that it means something you cannot believe. Once you start noticing these patterns, new words suddenly become much less intimidating. It's also crucial to listen and read actively. Don't just passively consume English. When you encounter a new word, pause and think about it. Try to guess its meaning before checking a dictionary. This trains your brain to rely on context and reasoning rather than memorization alone. I like to call this smart guessing. It's a skill that makes English feel more natural because you're learning how the language works, not just memorizing lists of words. Another powerful tool is association. When you learn a new word, try to connect it to something familiar, an image, a situation, or even a word in your own language. For example, if you learn the word glimmer, you might picture a tiny sparkle of light. Every time you hear or read glimmer, your brain will recall that image, making the word easier to remember and understand. I also recommend using example sentences. Words can have multiple meanings, so seeing them in different sentences helps you understand the range of uses. For instance, the word charge can mean to demand money, attack someone, or power a device. By looking at sentences like, "They charged Fontaine for tickets," "The soldiers charged the enemy," and "I need to charge my phone," you can quickly understand how the word works in different contexts. One mistake many learners make is relying too much on translation. Translation can be useful, but it often slows you down and prevents you from thinking directly in English. Instead, try to think in English as much as possible. When you encounter a new word, describe it in English using other words you know. For example, if you don't know the word glisten, you might say, "It's when something shines a little bit, like when water reflects sunlight." This habit strengthens your English thinking and makes understanding new words much faster. Practice is, of course, key. Every day, expose yourself to new words through reading, listening, and speaking. Don't worry if you don't understand everything at first. Your brain needs repetition and exposure to notice patterns. Keep a small notebook or digital list of words, but don't just memorize definitions, write sentences, make associations, and review them actively. Finally, patience and curiosity are your best friends. Learning to understand any English word doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent practice and the right strategies, it becomes easier and more intuitive. Celebrate the small victories. Every word you figure out on your own strengthens your brain and your confidence. So here's a simple plan to start today. Read a short article or listen to a podcast. Pick out a few words you don't know and try to figure out their meaning using context clues, word parts, associations, and example sentences. Don't rush, take your time, make connections, and check your guesses after. Repeat this process every day, and soon you'll notice you can understand words that once seemed impossible. Remember, understanding English words is a skill you can train. Context, patterns, associations, and active thinking are your tools. Keep practicing, stay curious, and you'll find that English becomes less about memorization and more about intuition and comprehension. Thank you for joining me on the English Hour today. Keep exploring new words, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next episode.